Good morning. Happy Monday. Rise and shine with Miko, everyone. So, this morning I woke up feeling pretty crappy and I didn't want to get up and it's Monday. It's actually been like this all weekend. I'm not sure what's going on, but I caught myself going into this fix it mode. Like immediately I was trying to be like going into problem solving, like why am I feeling this way, why am I feeling so yucky, and I caught myself wanting to change that, wanting to feel better, wanting to not feel those negative emotions. But then I remember, like, what if I'm supposed to surrender into this, right? Like I practice what I preach, and what if like everything is perfect exactly where I was at. It's only my judgment of the emotions that were keeping me in that spot where I was not feeling good, right? So we've been so conditioned, like growing up, to think that a certain way of feeling is good and a certain way of feeling is not good, right? Like feeling happy is good, and then feeling sad and anger is something that we shouldn't express it. Like we're just supposed to deal with it, right? But like, how often have we actually been taught how to deal with those emotions? And it is only the judgments, like saying like this emotion is good, this emotion is bad, that's really keeping it around. And there's a beautiful quote that I found today when I was writing my email newsletter. It's by, I don't know how to say his name. I don't know. But the quote says, "Do not fight against pain. Do not fight against irritation or jealousy. Embrace them with great tenderness as though you were embracing a little baby. Your anger is yourself and you should not be violent towards it. The same thing goes for all of your emotions." So I don't know if you guys seen the movie Inside Out. It's like a Pixar cartoon movie. Basically, like they have all these little emotions as actual like characters that lives inside of the main character, Riley. I think Riley was the girl's name. And it's just such a cute movie. It really shows you like how much value is in each and every single one of our emotions, right? Happiness, joy, sadness, anger, and there's disgust. Like if you guys haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend you guys check it out. But like, if you guys are someone who especially doing like the inner work, doing personal development, you've been caught on this train of like staying positive, think positive, right? Like always be happy. But that's actually really dangerous. Like just the fact that you're saying I need to stay positive is you saying that there is something negative that needs to be fixed, right? Just by you declaring that I need to solve this issue, it's you saying that there's an issue going on. But what if you can embrace all the emotions as though they're perfect, exactly where they should be, and instantly you would just feel that tension, that resistance kind of lift off of your shoulders. And I still catch myself doing this all the time. Like I still catch myself like finding these negative emotions I'm in, and I want to get into this like fix it mode where I want to get out of those emotions. And now I'm really just learning how to surrender into it, and surrender and thinking like, what's wrong with feeling bad? What's wrong with feeling sadness? Like, how can I really sit through it and be fully present with these emotions and be curious? Like, put on your detective hat and just be like, why is this showing up? You know, like, what part of me is feeling the sadness, and really just be there for yourself. And like, one way that I've been really dealing with this is like I really kind of detach from these emotions and to look at these sadness or anger and frustrations that show up throughout the day as little Miko that just wants to be seen, that just wants to be heard, and that just wants to be loved. And I give it space for that little Miko to show up and like not try to shove it away, not try to repress it or distract it with Facebook or social media. But I'm here for whatever that's showing up, and be like what do you need? Like, how do you really feel? And what do you really want to say? And you really want to give that space, because whatever gets repressed will continue to stay deep within your being, your energetic being, and it's going to really create a lot of issues that will show up in your relationship, in your finances, and in everything. Because like your emotions influence the way you think, and your thinking influence the decisions that you make and the actions that you take, which in turn it's going to shape your reality. So like it all goes so deep. So if you don't really give a space for those emotions to be seen and heard and felt and loved, it's gonna stay there, because any repressed emotions actually becomes crystallized energy blocks that blocks things like your intuition, your creativity. Good morning, Martin. Yeah, it blocks all these powerful creative juices that's gonna allow you to create more abundance, to create more happiness, to create more fulfillment, right? Those blockages are directly blocking your flow to everything that you want. So next time you're feeling bad, and this is like so something that we don't do enough, right? People ask us like, how are you feeling? Like I just talked to a friend recently when the whole like the George Floyd thing happened, and I just wanted to check in with him and see like how he's feeling. And we just so conditioned, like it's an automatic response. Like when people ask us how are you feeling, immediately you just say I'm good, how about you? What about you truly dive in and really feel how you're feeling before you answer that? Right? Oh my gosh, this is so weird. Asuka was just talking about you. And Asuka is here. Okay, yeah, so like, you know, next time when someone asks you like how are you feeling, I want you to truly sit with yourself and really feel like, how am I really feeling? And it's okay if you don't truly feel good. Like don't answer feeling good or feeling okay if that's not really truly how you're feeling, right? Like if we are not there for ourselves first, like for our emotions, we're not fully there for us, we cannot expect the world, we cannot expect life, we cannot expect others to be there for us if we're not doing that for ourselves first. So it's just so simple. Like don't go into that automatic response and be like, I'm good, how about you? If you're feeling yucky, if you're feeling poopy, if you're feeling just so defeated, whatever you're feeling, honor that. Honor those emotions, because those emotions are just that little you, that little child in you that just needs to be seen. So next time, I encourage you guys to really be fully there for yourself. And this whole weekend, pretty much this whole weekend, I was really catching myself feeling like this emotional roller coaster ride, and like I really wanted to, and this is why we get so distracted throughout the day. Like we constantly are bombarded with like keeping ourselves busy with like Facebook, Instagram, food, sex, talking with our friends, whatever it is. We get so distracted because we don't want to be there for ourselves. We don't want to meet us. We don't want to feel those emotions. So I encourage you guys, when you're feeling whatever is coming up, to just be there for you. Just be there for your emotions. Just be there for that little inner child in there that just wants to be heard, that just wants to be seen. Any like emotions that come up, like frustration, anger, feelings of jealousy, feelings of rejections, like all of that shows up throughout the day. Like trust me, if you're aware enough, you will catch yourself feeling all sorts of all those like crazy emotions. Like someone didn't like your post, immediately you go into this feeling like, what's wrong with me? What did I post that was not good, right? Like you go into this feeling of like rejection or abandonment or whatever, and really feel that. Like I want you to feel it. And what I do every single morning, I'll show you guys. I have a notebook and I just did it this morning. I write down at the top, like I don't know if you guys can read it, how do I really feel and what do I really want to say? So at the first thing in the morning, I really give it space. I give that inner little Miko inside space for it to really express how she's feeling. What does she really want to say? And I'll let you guys read what I put on here. I literally put like, I feel grumpy, I feel lazy. I just feel all kinds of stuff. And I don't justify it. Like I don't justify why I feel grumpy. Like I feel grumpy and I don't say like because, or like you don't need to justify your feeling. Just say it. Just give yourself that space to express. And like what do you really want to say, right? So many times we don't have that opportunity to truly fully express what's really in us, and then we go about every single day trying to control all the conditions outside so we don't get triggered. What camera device you use? I just use my iPhone, Aria. Super simple, nothing fancy. So like the more you can heal yourself, release yourself on these triggers by doing the inner work, that's when other outside conditions cannot push your buttons, because you are pretty much removing all these buttons so that others cannot push them anymore, right? You're healing those triggers, you're letting yourself feel those emotions first, and then you go about and nothing can really trigger you anymore. So just I hope this was helpful, guys. Like throughout the day, really pay attention to how you're feeling. Like honor every single emotion. Like again, going back to what I mentioned at the beginning, I sent this email out to my audience today. Like this was from the movie Inside Out. If you guys seen it, it's such a cute movie. But like at the end, pretty much like Joy, the character Joy, realized like how important sadness really is in Riley's life. Like sadness is so needed. It's like such a beautiful emotions, right? It's only that life has taught us sadness is bad, happiness is good, but that's a bunch of bullshit, like, right? We gotta embrace both, like the yin and the yang, embracing the whole. It's how we can transcend to this level of like unconditional love, this deep sense of fulfillment that we can only experience when we embrace the good and the bad. And this week, guys, there's so much universal changes going on. I don't know if you guys study astrology, but I was watching a weekly like this. I'm not gonna go into that too much today, but he's an astrologist, and he said that this week is really like the week where we get to decide, are we going to continue to live in this duality mentality where there's good, there's bad, win-lose mentality, or are we gonna really transition into the unity consciousness, really like embracing the good and the bad as a whole, and there's a win-win situation, and it applies to everything. It applies to everything in life and what's going on right now in our world. Like you get to choose duality or unity. Which one are you gonna pick? And this is the week that you decide. So I encourage you guys to choose unity consciousness, and that's where you get to embrace like everything as perfect as it is. All right, so that's all I'm gonna share with you guys today. Arya, how to not let others get to me. Good question. I love that question so much. My emotions were so triggered yesterday. I really had to think. I kept justifying myself, and this is so supportive. Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, so this is so deep, right? Like there are so many layers deep that is in our patterns and our conditioning. So like for example, we feel, and I go through this, I've been through this, I'm still working through these, right? Like for example, I catch myself being judgmental towards myself. Like maybe I started to go down the same patterns that I used to go down, and immediately I catch myself judging. And you have to understand that that judgmental voice is also a pattern, right? Like that urge, that need, that you need to fix whatever that you think it's not okay, that's a pattern in itself that you have to release and transcend. And the way that you do it is just like fully let it be there, fully let those judgments, fully let those feelings of like worrying about what others think, let those be there, and don't even try to like get rid of them, or don't try to like justify, right? Like really think of that judgment and that feeling as little Arya that's showing up right now. Like really detach from it first of all, and you wouldn't like if you see a little girl 3-year-old little girl, if she's crying, she just needs to feel love, she just needs to feel that she's seen, you wouldn't beat her down, you wouldn't like yell at her, you wouldn't say like you should be feeling something else, like you wouldn't do that. So it's the same exact concept, like don't do that to yourself. We're so good at being there for others, but we're never being there for ourselves. So like the first step is just like don't try to fix anything, don't try to you don't need to justify anything. And if you catch yourself like judging yourself or feeling like you're worrying about what others think, love that. Like, okay, you're welcome to be here. Like all these emotions, you're 100% welcome to be here. I'm here for you. You're just being present with those emotions, and you don't need to do anything about it. Like just be here. That's all you need to do. Just be here for those emotions. Like don't need to do anything about it. And really just try to feel how like the tension and the resistance are slowly easing off the more you're here for it. And instead of like, because again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, the simple fact of you thinking that you need to do something about it is you saying that something is wrong, something needs to be fixed, there's a problem here, just by you saying that I need to fix it, right? But what if you don't need to fix it? What if you're just here for it and just let it be and really like hold space, and that's when it gets the opportunity to be released from you. So I hope that's helpful. Like pretty much like to wrap all of this up is like, don't go into the fix it mode. Like anytime you feel those emotions come up, just be there for it. You don't need to do anything, just surrender into it and know that all emotions are perfect exactly as they are. There's no good or bad emotions. Like embrace it all. So I hope this was helpful, guys. I will tune back in at 4 p.m. PST for Ask Miko Anything. Aria, amazing questions today. I love answering them and supporting you guys. So just really take good care of you and love yourself. It really, like, loving yourself is such like a intangible concept, but it comes down to like, to make it more practical, it's like the moment by moment basis. Like how are you honoring yourself, how you're honoring your emotions, what do you do when those emotions come up. It's all about like being compassionate and holding space on a moment to moment basis. That's how you love yourself. All right, guys, so sending so much love from my heart to you, and I'll see you soon at 4 p.m. Talk to you later.